Okay, class 9, I have already started in the previous video lesson about the different cases. For the different cases we have just started, we have done the previous, this one. So I'll just once again recapitulate, and I want to do this three at the same time. Suppose you have immersed, I think now the concepts about where the weight is acting, where the upthrust is acting is clear to you. So when is the upthrust maximum? When the solid is completely immersed inside the liquid. Because when, suppose only this part is immersed inside the liquid, say, it will experience less upthrust. Than more you move downwards inside the liquid, that means more will be the volume of the submerged part, more will be the upthrust. Entire solid dipped, entire solid inside the, completely immersed inside the liquid, maximum upthrust. Now I've immersed completely a solid inside liquid. Solid has a density rho, liquid has a density rho L. Now V into rho into G, because W is mg, m stands for volume into density, so V rho G. Upthrust, what do we know? Upthrust means volume of the displaced liquid into density of the liquid into G. You have learned this expression. These two equal. Why? Because when a body is completely immersed inside a liquid, the solid will displace the volume of liquid equal to its own volume. This is also same. Now, what if we find that the downward force is more? That means the weight is more. Suppose on this marker, if the downward force is more than the upward force, I am trying to push it upwards. The downward force is more. So ultimately it will move downwards. So if W is greater than FB dash, that means rho greater than rho L. Density of the solid is greater than the density of liquid, or W is greater than FB dash, then the body will sink. Right? So what is the net force then when it was, say the body was, initially you have just immersed the body completely inside the liquid. And you find that slowly the body is sinking downwards. That means the net force acting is downwards, because W is now greater than FB dash, right? Okay. Now when you find that when you have completely immersed the solid inside the liquid like this, weight is acting downwards, maximum upthrust is acting upwards, you find that the solid is floating in that condition. That means the solid is neither moving down nor it's moving up. That means the two forces, if the two forces acting downward and upward are same, equal, then it will remain in this condition. So W equal to FB dash or rho equal to rho L. Therefore, the body floats but completely immersed. Completely immersed, right? Can you tell me then one thing? If the weight of the body is equal to the maximum upthrust, that means what is the apparent weight of the body? Upthrust means the apparent loss in weight. If W minus FB dash will mean what? W minus FB dash will mean what? The apparent weight of the body in liquid. So apparent weight of the body in liquid is W minus FB dash. Because you just see, suppose this is the actual weight and this is the apparent weight. This is equal to, we know that the loss in weight, apparent loss in weight, which is equal to upthrust. That means W minus FB dash, FB or whatever FB dash, that is equal to W dash. That means this we have got, this is the apparent weight of the solid in liquid. What will be the apparent weight of the solid in the liquid? In this case, 0. these two equal. That means W minus FB dash is 0. See, in this case, we get W minus FB dash equal to 0. Therefore, the apparent weight of the solid in liquid is 0. Again, see this one. You have completely immersed the solid in the liquid. Now you find that the solid is moving up slightly upwards. So you have dipped inside. You have dipped the solid inside like this, but gradually it's moving upwards. Why will it move upwards? Which force is more? Upthrust is more. Downward force, upward force. When can a body move in this condition? When can a body move upwards? If the force which is acting upward is more, then only it can move upwards, right? Weight, upthrust. If upthrust is more, if the maximum upthrust is more, then it will move upwards. How long will it move? When it will reach a position such that the weight is balanced by the upthrust of the water. I've written FB, not FB dash, because in this case, it's partially floating, see? So the upthrust is not maximum. Here the upthrust is maximum because it was completely immersed. So when you actually try to dip the mug inside the bucket filled with water, you find that when you release your hand, it will come up on the surface like it initially was, and it will start floating with partially immersed part of the mug. That means the upthrust of the water was the maximum upthrust of the water. Maximum upthrust when the mug which was completely immersed inside the liquid. That time upthrust was more than the weight. So it has pushed the mug upwards, kept it in such a position where this can balance this, and it will keep on floating. When the two forces will balance, it will keep on floating in this condition. So in this case, which one is less or which one is more? W is less than FB dash. That means this is more, right? So can I write then rho less than rho L? That means density of the solid is less than the density of liquid. So if I did, so that's why when I immerse a lighter in a liquid, a heavier body, or say for example if I dip inside a liquid, such a body which has density more than the density of the liquid, it will sink. Equal, then it will float completely immersed. Less, then it will float partially immersed. What is the, in this condition when it is floating like this, W equal to FB, so W minus FB is 0. Again, apparent weight of the body is 0. For a floating body, these two cases, for a floating body, apparent weight of the floating body is 0. This is the principle of flotation, right? Okay. Now say, I have immersed a body inside a liquid. Not completely, just I have immersed. It can be completely or it cannot be completely. I have immersed. W is the weight of the body. M into G. M is mass, so volume into density. V is the volume of the solid. Rho S is the density of the solid. Upthrust. Weight of the liquid displaced. We know that, right? Upthrust is equal to weight of the liquid displaced. Remember this form. Weight of the liquid displaced is equal to the upthrust. Weight M into G. M again volume into density. Rho L is the density of liquid and small v, it is the volume of the submerged part of the solid. Because I am not considering that it is completely immersed. It can be or cannot be. If it is completely immersed, small v equal to capital V. If it is not, then small v is not equal to capital V. But say I have immersed, say half portion of the solid. Then V by V will be half, fraction of the solid which are immersed. So we'll do that in numericals, don't worry. So just remember that. How do we find the upthrust? Formula, weight of volume of the liquid displaced into density of liquid into G. So volume of the liquid displaced is the volume of the part of the submerged part of the solid. So let it be small v. If it's a special case of submerging, if totally it's completely submerged, then small v equal to capital V. That's the case, okay. So for a floating body, what have we learned? Weight of the body is equal to weight of the displaced liquid or the upthrust. W equal to Fb, then only the body can float, right? If say it's completely immersed, W equal to Fb dash. If it's partially immersed, W equal to Fb. So in either of the cases, those two are balancing each other. Then only it is floating, either completely immersed or partially immersed. And what else have we learned for a floating body? Apparent weight of the floating body is 0. Those two comes under the principle of flotation. So then can I write this is equal to this? So from there, see, I've got small v by capital V equal to rho s by rho L. This is the relation between the volume of the submerged part, the total volume of the solid, density of solid and density of liquid. Let's see an application, okay. How we will use that? When we will do numericals, you will understand. But let's see this one. Volume. This is volume of the submerged part of the solid. That is, a solid is immersed inside a liquid. How much volume of the solid is immersed inside the liquid? Small v. Total volume of the solid, density of the solid, density of the liquid in which it is immersed. See, density of ice, you know that it's less than the water, right? So its value is say this and water is this. Find then small v by capital V will be this by this, 0.917. So V, small v equal to 0.917 into capital V. So if I convert it into percentage, that means 91.7% of the total volume. 91.7% of the total volume. Then can we just think, icebergs, when they float in water, maximum portion of the iceberg therefore remains inside water. Small v stands for the volume of the solid submerged inside the liquid. That means 91.7% of the total volume of icebergs remain inside water. That's why they are so much dangerous for the ships, because they cannot see, they can only see only a small fraction of the volume outside the surface of water, because the maximum portion is inside the water. That's why they're so hazardous and they can cause accidents, because we cannot easily locate them, right? Let's do the applications of the principle of flotation, okay? So the first one given in the book, iron nail sinks in water while a ship floats. Why? Iron has a density greater than water. So what will be the case? That's why iron nail will sink down. What about the ship? Ships when they are made, it's made in such a way that a lot of portion of the ships are made void. I mean, it's filled with air such that it actually contains air inside that hollow space. Why is it done so? In order to increase the volume of the ship. So if volume of the ship is more, that means volume of the submerged part of the solid in the liquid is more. That means the upthrust will be more. So it will experience a lot of upthrust. As a result, it will actually push it upwards. So it won't sink down, right? Okay. So, okay, next one. A loaded ship is submerged more while an unloaded ship is less submerged. That means, say you have an empty ship. When cargoes are loaded in it, won't its weight increase? Obviously. you imagine if this is the ship, go on increasing the weight. So that means the force acting downwards is increasing. So it will move down a bit farther into the water. How long will it move? As long, when the weight acting downwards balances the upthrust, right? Then it will stop. Obviously, it won't just sink down to. Now, there is also a point. You cannot just go on loading the cargoes for, as per your choice. Like, you just can't keep on loading the cargoes on and on. Because if the weight increases in such a way, ultimately the ship will sink. Right? If the weight increases the maximum upthrust, then it will sink down. We have learned this. If W is greater than FB dash. So, the ships can be loaded up to such a level so that it will sink. It will move farther into the water, but after some time, the weight acting downwards will balance the upthrust and it will keep floating in that manner. So there are some lines given along the surfaces of the ships. I think I have done in class 7. This was there. Class 8 I guess. So those lines are known as Plimsoll lines. They are the safety levels. That means up to that line you can load the cargoes. After that, if you keep on loading the cargoes, accidents may occur. The ship may sink down due to tremendous weight. Okay. Now, a ship begins to submerge more as it sails from seawater to river water. Obviously, when a ship is moving from seawater to river water, which one has more density? Seawater. So, if for a seawater, rho is less than rho L, the ship will be able to float. As it moves towards the river water, this decreases, right? This go on decreasing. That means, comparatively now, the density of the ship, which was initially floating in the seawater, it's getting more and more close to the, it's getting greater than the density of the river water, because density of river water is less than that of the sea water. So suppose if say the ship was floating in this level, when it moves to the river water, what will happen? Sea water has more density than the river water. So when it was floating in the sea, when the ship was floating in the sea, this was very much less than the rho L. Density of the ship is less than the density of the seawater. But when it moves, say it's moving at this level. Say it's moving at this level. Because this is more. That means the upthrust, this more means. So, ship will not move down much farther. But as soon as it moves to the river water, there the density of the water is less. Therefore, it will submerge a bit. Do you remember that example? You have two liquids, different liquids. In which case will the body submerge more? Say you have water. Say this, you have sea water and you have river water. Density of, here the density is more. So density is more means, in this case, just see, density is more means upthrust is more. V rho G. Density is more means upthrust is more. So it will actually keep pushing the ship upwards, so it won't move down much farther. While it moves to the river, it will move down a bit farther into the water. Why? Because the density is less than the density of sea. So obviously, here now, the rho, obviously it won't sink down, but it will move a bit farther into the river water, because in this case, the density of river water is less than the density of sea water. That example, A and B, two objects immersed in two liquids. So density more, density is more, upthrust is more. So upthrust is more, that means it will submerge less into the sea. That is why it is easier to swim in sea water than in river water. Same case, just same concept and same reason. Just apply this when you are swimming in sea water and you are swimming in river water. In which case will you submerge more? In river water. And which case it will float a bit higher? Sea water. See this one, flotation of submarines. Now submarines, they have got, see the diagram in your book, they have got certain flotation tanks on the front side and the rear side. They are known as a ballast tanks. They are made in such a way, suppose if I want to move the ship farther deep inside the water, what will I do? I will have to maintain this. So how will I increase the density or the weight of the ship? By filling up the ballast tanks with water. Now if I want to move the ship a bit upwards, then what will I do? I'll empty the water. Then it will become lighter. So obviously it will rise up. Heavier bodies sink down, lighter bodies will rise up. For the fishes, their swim bladders act as this ballast tanks. Read the application for flotation in fish, you will understand. Go through the applications which are given in the book. If you get stuck in any point, then ask me.